So welcome again to another edition of our DX Engineering videos, and today we're very excited to have Dave Sumner, K1ZZ, visiting here in Tallmadge, Ohio. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you, Tim. Pleasure to be here.
And we're talking about amateur radio and some of the things that make this hobby special, and how you got started, and maybe even what you like to do on the air, Dave. What bands do you like, and maybe one of your most interesting QSOs?
Well, I got started at the age of 10 when I received a crystal radio kit as a present. And I fooled around with that for hours and hours and didn't hear a thing. And then one evening, I hear this booming signal playing Columbia, the Gem of the Ocean. Da, 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 da. And it turned out to be the Voice of America transmitter here in Ohio, down near Cincinnati. And I was just flabbergasted that this little thing that didn't have any power source at all was hearing a radio station in Ohio. And that kind of planted the seed. It didn't germinate for a couple of years afterwards, but I got my license at age 13 and became active on the air. I focused mainly on CW operating using Morse code on the air. Has been my main interest over the years, but I've dabbled in just about everything.
So, you've had hundreds of thousands of QSOs, I'm sure, over that time.
Oh, more
period.
than that.
Yeah. Do you know how many?
I don't.
Okay.
Although I will say I kept track all through high school, and by the time I left home to go to school at Michigan State University, I already had over 20,000 contacts in the log.
Wow. And
some kids waste their youth in pool halls. I spent mine on the air.
That's not a bad place to be. What would you say is your favorite band to operate on?
My favorite bands are the low bands, 160, 80, and 40 meters. I would say probably that 40 is the favorite of those three. Mainly because it's an all-year, it's an all-season band. You don't get to take the summer off if you operate 40. But 10 meters is fun whenever the band is open, especially when it's open marginally. When you have you have to do tricks like working Europe by pointing your antenna down toward South America. It's fun to discover those opportunities that others might miss. Also, I share the amateur radio hobby with my wife Linda, K1ZZ, and Linda's favorite band is 10 meters, and her only complaint about our antennas is that they're not big enough.
Boy, if we all should be so lucky to have a wife that wants to keep putting up more and more hardware.
I'm especially blessed.
That's very cool. Now, do you have a favorite time? Would you spend all weekend on the radio?
Well, I do DX contesting primarily, mainly on CW. And so those are typically 48-hour events. I like the 24-hour events more and more as I get older. In last May, I had a chance to go to the Azores and operate using the call sign CU4DX from a very simple station. It was not elaborate by any means, but the Azores is a rather magical location and for radio, so it was a very, very enjoyable weekend.
So you've got to operate from all over the world. I would expect, that you might even have another place where you had a great radio experience other than the Azores.
Oh, over the years I've had a number. I'm not a de-expeditioner like some of your more famous friends, but I did a couple of serious contests from Montserrat back in 1980. When I go to Geneva to attend ITU meetings, I try to get in to operate for you on ITU. I was invited to come over and help put Montenegro on the air when it became a separate entity, separate from Serbia. And that was a lot of fun. Knowing that every contact you made was giving someone a new band country, that was very satisfying.
That's very cool. Now, how about public safety or humanitarian type work? Have you had some experience in those areas?
I actually started out my first ARRL appointment as a volunteer was at age 14 as an assistant emergency coordinator in my town in southeastern Connecticut. And my assignment was to take the weekly net report on our 10-meter AM net and go on 80-meter CW and transmit it to the Connecticut section manager, section communications manager. So that planted the seed for that. Fortunately, in Connecticut, we don't have too many serious natural disasters, but our role, my role in my day job is to make sure that our volunteers get the support they need in the field to handle whatever they face.
Well, we know here next year you'll be retiring from your day job, and do you have antenna plans? Do you have things that you want to do now that you don't have to report for office duty?
Right. Well, I do have a modest antenna farm at home, and so I do have some plans for growth in that regard. But also just experimenting with antennas. It'll be fun to just be able to spend some time tweaking and seeing if I can get a few more tenths of a dB out of a given set of aluminum. Linda, my wife, likes to travel, and so we hope to be able to do more of that as well.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Well, Dave, we thank you very much for stopping by today, and we hope everyone has enjoyed our little interview here with Dave Sumner, K1ZZ. 73 for now.
Thanks, Tim.